Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my ex's car repair after my ex BFF vandalized it? I, 28 female, have been dating my boyfriend, Jay, 30 male, for about 4 months. Things were going great until about 3 months in, I found out my best friend of 17 years, S, 28 female, was sleeping with Jay every day for the past month. She blew up on me, admitted she had been screwing him because you don't appreciate him as much as he does, and then moved in with him. Needless to say, both are dead to me now. Fast forward to 2 days ago, I got a frantic call from S. She told me she'd lost it when she saw Jay texting another woman, and in her rage, she keyed his car all along the driver's side door. Jay, true to form, wants her to pay the $2,000 repair bill or he will hand over security footage. It's at least a misdemeanor. She's begging me for the money, saying she can't go to jail and doesn't have the cash. I laughed and hung up. My reasoning? She betrayed me in the worst way, then slept with my new boyfriend. No loyalty whatsoever. I'm under no obligation to bail out someone who wrecked my property, much less someone who helped wreck my life. If she cared about the rules, she wouldn't have screwed my boyfriend behind my back in the first place. Now a couple of my mutual friends are calling me cruel for leaving her to deal with her own mess. One even said, "You owe her sympathy." I think she made her bed. Why should I foot the bill? Am I the a-hole? You're not the a-hole, OP, and I couldn't agree more with your reasoning. The minute S slept with your boyfriend and moved in with him was when she ended her friendship with you and broke whatever trust you two had together. You don't owe her anything, not forgiveness, and definitely not money. She should have known Jay was always going to cheat on her. You lose them how you get them. The friends who are calling you cruel should foot the bill to help her out since they're oh so generous and kind. Stand your ground and definitely cut her off, OP. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for refusing to rekindle with my sister after she cut me off? This could get convoluted, so I'll just get right to the point. I became a father at 15 and a single father at 17. I won't waste too many characters explaining all of that, but basically my high school girlfriend and I were young and dumb. She never really took to mothering and decided that she didn't want to do it at all when presented with the choice of kid or university. By the time my kid was born, both of my parents were already dead, and my only immediate family were my sister, who is 10 years older and who I lived with, and our brother, who is 15 years older than me and lives abroad. As soon as I found out my baby's mother was pregnant, my sister made it very clear she doesn't care for babies and young children at all, and when my daughter was born, she wasn't welcome in her home for more than an hour or two at a time, and certainly not overnight. When her mother dished our little girl, my sister basically told me to choose to keep my kid or keep living with her. Of course, I chose my daughter and we moved out. Sister entirely cut me out of her life, stating again that she doesn't like little kids. Now, my daughter is 9. She's a wonderful kid and I love her more than anything. Quite apparently, this is the age when she stopped being a little kid in my sister's eyes, because she has decided she doesn't mind being around her now and is trying to get involved in my life again. I have so far resisted all of her attempts, but quite frankly, I have no interest in being around her. I had an absolutely hellish time after she kicked me and my little girl out, and I'm still angry that she cared more about not liking kids than she did about me. I did not expect her to help with the child or anything. I get that she was my mistake, for want of a better term, and that I was responsible for her. But kicking me out and cutting off all contact hurt, especially when she was the only family that I had here. And in my mind, she made it apparent there that she doesn't really care about me. Perhaps an important note is that she didn't apologize for any of this and feels like she doesn't have to. She's pretty upset that I want nothing to do with her anymore and has complained to our brother, who's kinda trying to play peacemaker. I don't think I'm being unreasonable here, but who knows, maybe I am. What do you lot as strangers think? Edit. Apparently relevant information, so I'll add it. What happened was literally that my kid's mom dropped her off with me one afternoon, was late for pickup, eventually called saying she wasn't coming back, and by the next morning, kiddo and I were homeless. She blocked me on everything, including my number, and my attempts to reach her through other people were shot down. She unblocked me after 18 months but still ignored my messages and calls. Because people are asking, I was planning on moving out when I turned 18, and when I say my sister kicked me out with no notice, I mean she woke me up at 6 a.m. and told me I could take whatever I could pack into bin bags within half an hour, and then I had to get the F out of her house. You're not the a-hole for not wanting your sister back into your life or your daughter's life, OP. She cut things off with you pretty thoroughly when you really needed her to be there for you, and that's enough reason to not want her to just walk back into your life just because your daughter is at the age she doesn't consider annoying. Your sister is an a-hole for totally cutting off all contacts with you and not offering you any help while you needed it. She knew how hard it must have been to raise a baby all by yourself, but she didn't reach out once to help after kicking you out of her home. The least she can do now is apologize for what she did, and hope it's enough to get you to forgive her and let her back into your life slowly. Now for some comments. No a-holes here. You are obviously some kind of superhero, so no explanations needed here. I also think your sister is not an a-hole though. She was 25 when she took you in after your parents died. Caring for a teen is a tough job. Caring for a sibling while grieving your parents is tougher. She stepped up for you. She lost her parents too. Her older brother deserted her as well, leaving her to care for you. And in the midst of this, you introduce a baby. I can see where she would not be able to cope, and I can see why she could not deal with it elegantly. She deserves slack. Not the a-hole. She made a choice and burnt that bridge pretty thoroughly. Even if, playing devil's advocate here, she didn't want the burden of caring for a young child. Completely cutting you out of her life for 7 years is extreme. Sounds rather bizarre that she's randomly trying to re-establish contact now without making any actual amends. Unless we're missing some key information, there's absolutely no spin on this where she doesn't come off as selfish and kinda evil. I'm surprised you still have a relationship with your brother if he's remaining neutral about this. My position would be that you're not the a-hole for not wanting to spend time and energy on someone who you know won't have your back, and didn't try to preserve that relationship when you were in the shit. However, I disagree with the current consensus that the sister is the a-hole for refusing to house an infant, even with no expectations from the 17-year-old parent that the sister helps with childcare. That is a huge lifestyle upheaval. I don't agree that anyone other than the parents is obligated to be subject to living with an infant, and drawing your boundaries in that situation isn't an a-hole move by default. That said, cutting you out entirely is not the same thing as refusing to live with an infant. Hence not the a-hole. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend the graduation party? I've been with my husband for almost 11 years. I came into the relationship with children from a previous marriage. His family never really accepted them as part of the family. It was obvious when Christmas cards would come in the mail, addressed to only our shared biological child. At Christmas, my children sat and watched the biological grandchildren be given lots of gifts, while they, I shit you not, were given coloring books. Final straw for me, it was not about money. It was about making my children feel inferior in some way. My husband concurred his family's actions were inappropriate, and we decided to skip further Christmas Eve celebrations to avoid this problem. It was brought up. but no one else saw it as an issue. It's been years now and we haven't had much contact with his brother outside of a funeral, but have maintained contact with his parents, who still, despite being confronted, failed to acknowledge my children's birthdays. One, mind you, who is a day before their biological grandchild. Cards would arrive for holidays addressed to only the biological grandchild. Can you feel my years of seething? I keep things cordial for my husband. A few weeks ago, we received an invitation to his nephew's graduation party tomorrow, addressed to Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so and biological child. No mention of my children. I emailed my sister-in-law and said we would not be attending and signed it, husband's name, my name, and all of the children. Did not get a reply. Husband received a text from his brother saying, "You're going to miss my son's party over a misunderstanding." I am refusing to go. Husband wants to go. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Brother-in-law told my husband the misunderstanding wasn't meant to exclude anyone. Of course, everyone is invited. I just can't get over the invitation and past behavior to even conclude it was any form of misunderstanding and not outright exclusion. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. I don't think your husband should be going either, in my opinion. It's an all or nothing kind of situation. They either accept your family or they don't. What they don't get to do is alienate any part of your family or make them feel inferior. You and your husband need to protect the well-being of all of your children. Not the a-hole. It's not a misunderstanding. It's intentional. I've seen several families where certain children are favored over others. The neglected and the noticed alike understand and feel immense different negative emotions about it. It's awful. Stick to your guns. This side of the family is going to continue to promote this disgusting behavior if you back down. They may not change just because you stand up to them, but your kids will see what you're doing for them, and that's what matters. Not the a-hole. I remarried, no biological children, and I have a stepdaughter, 12, and a stepson, 24. I've been around them for about 8 years now. It's new territory for my parents and immediate family as they, my 4 siblings, have never been divorced and don't have stepchildren. But they embraced the kids as they would any of their other biological grandkids. My sister and their kids have been more than awesome about it. I'm on your side. I would be offended if they invited only me and not them consistently.